Coach, talk just a little bit about what you're looking forward to this season.
Well, as always, we set our goals very high. We've got a great league in the ECAC, and felt disappointed that we came in 4th place last year after 2 championships before that. So we're setting our sights on trying to win that title back and certainly go as far as we can and vie for a national championship.
So you're looking at last year, you're now going into this year, you've seen the freshmen kind of mix in with the team. What are going to be some of the new things that the fans see this year?
Well, I think they're going to see a lot of more action, a lot more players on the field for us. We do have some freshmen that we think are going to be impact guys, and Gordy Kerber and Pat Carroll and Chris Hampton, and some of those guys have come in and really shown that they can play at this level. It's going to be a more exciting game and a faster paced game that the fans will notice right away with the no horns and the no delayed substitutions. So I think for everybody involved, the timing's right for us. We finally feel like we have some depth in our program. We can play now 25, 28 guys in a game. And we feel really good about that.
All right, so the question that is burning on everybody's minds is how are you going to replace Mark and Alex?
Well, as we've said often, we don't replace a guy like Mark, but you do have to change. Mark was a phenomenal player, could score goals in many different ways, as we saw over the 3 years, and going to miss Mark a great deal. First-round draft choice of 2 pro leagues, not a bad resume for him. But you have to move on. Everybody graduates people, and we feel like with the move of Wesley Berg to ECAC, who got a lot of experience last year as a midfielder for us, gives us a little of that Canadian, dynamic down there at ECAC. Eric Law's back running the show back there, and Gordy Kerber has just come in, taking number 22, the big left-hander, and he moves a lot quicker than Mark. He's not a guy that hangs out. He doesn't quite have Mark's dynamic finishing skills, but Gordy's going to be a good one.
Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about your goalie situation, the other end of the field. You got Jamie Faust back from an Achilles injury last year. You got Ryan Plant. What's going to be your biggest challenge this year with 2 great goalies?
Well, it's a huge challenge, but it's a good challenge. I'm sure that the one who's not playing at that time is going to be not very happy or feeling like he's, he could do as well. But right now, they are both, first of all, they're both fantastic young men. They're great friends. They support each other so well. I'm really amazed at that. And, unfortunately, you can only play one goalie. If one of them was a second attackman or midfielder or defenseman, they'd be starting and playing all the time. But we feel like we learned last year, if something does happen, maybe there's an injury, God forbid, or somebody's just not playing well that day, we've got another one to come in who's going to be pretty formidable.
All right, so now let's talk about Chase Carrero. He had a great year last year. Some would say a breakout year after he built off of his sophomore season. But it seemed like in the last game last year, Loyola kind of had him figured out. Can you talk a little bit about any adjustments that he's made going into this year?
Well, Loyola did a great job, and we went from winning 21 out of 25 to the last game not winning very many out of 20-something, and they did a great job. When you're a face-off guy that's been taking a bulk of face-offs, I think Chase's total numbers now are up near 1,000 face-offs in 3 years. So that's a lot of face-offs and a lot of film for people to have on them. So the task for Chase this year is to understand that people know him and understand that he's a talented young man. He's second-team All-American last year, and that he's going to have to adjust his game a little bit. Maybe a little bit less of going forward and getting fast breaks, and a little bit more of just battling out there, because people are going to try to counter him, and they're going to try to lean over, and they're going to try to grab his stick and do all sorts of things to him, but he'll be able to handle that. We also have, Chase Culkin has really come on as a senior, and Chris Hampton, the freshman, is a phenomenal face-off guys. So we're kind of more of a 3-headed monster than one, and I think that'll help Chase Carrero in the long run.
All right, and lastly, let's talk about your schedule. It's probably one of the hardest schedules that you guys have been able to put together since you guys have come to the University of Denver. Talk a little bit about who we're going to see this year.
Well, certainly opening with Duke, Penn State, and Lehigh, 3 top 15 teams. Duke is, 3rd or 4th in the country. Lehigh, 8th or 9th, depending on what rankings you look at. Penn State has, in my mind, the finest young coach in Jeff Tambroni. They're going to be phenomenal. So just to start off with those 3 is going to be quite a challenge. But I really believe that our guys will be stronger at the end of the year if we face these challenges. We certainly need to come out with a couple of wins in that grouping, and we feel like we have the talent to do that. And then, you bring on teams like Notre Dame and Penn, and then before your league season, and we came in 4th place in our league last year. That's we just can't do that again, and we feel like this kind of schedule with it's actually other than the first few weeks, it's actually a really favorable home schedule. We think that if our guys stay healthy and win some of those 1-goal games, we're going to actually have a great year.